Today we're going to talk about two miracles of healing. First one was in Galilee. Let's look at the scriptures, chapter 5, starting at verse 46. Once more, he visited Cana in Galilee, where he'd turned the water into wine. And there was a certain royal official whose son lay sick at Capernaum. When this man heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee from Judea, he went to him and he begged him to come and heal his son who was close to death. Unless you people see miraculous signs and wonders, Jesus told him, you will never believe. The royal official said, Sir, come down before my child dies. Jesus replied, You may go, your son will live. And the man took Jesus at his word, and he departed. Jesus was back in his home territory, and the people were sceptical. They said, Isn't he just the carpenter's son? And they wanted to see miracles because they were hearing rumours about what he'd done in Jerusalem. So they gathered round, and there was an important man who journeyed 25 kilometres from Capernaum because his son was sick. And Jesus thought, I don't want to do miracles to impress these people. That's not the point. But he had compassion on this man. And so he did the most unobtrusive miracle he could. He said, okay, it's done, go home. And the man believed him. And on the way home, he found out that his son had been healed at that moment. This is a sign that Jesus was not just the son of a carpenter from Nazareth, but he was the Son of God from heaven. The second miracle we're going to look at is in Jerusalem. And there's a pool there where people would gather because they believed that when the waters were moved and stirred by an angel, the first person to get in that pool would be healed. And Jesus met a man there who'd been paralysed for 38 years, and he was sitting waiting to try and get in the water. And Jesus said a strange thing to him. He said, Do you want to be well? In other words, are you addicted to being looked after and cared for and not having to take responsibility? Or do you want to get better and look after yourself? And the man said, I've been trying. In chapter 5, verse 8, Jesus said to him, Get up, pick up your mat and walk. And at once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and he walked. He could have said to Jesus, I'm a cripple. What do you think? I can't get up. That's why I'm here. If he did, I'm sure he would have still been there, still waiting for the waters to move. But he believed what Jesus said, and Jesus healed him on the Sabbath and told him, pick up your mat. This caused lots of problems for Jesus because the leading Jews thought he was a Sabbath breaker. This miracle was a sign of Jesus' authority not just over sickness, but over the petty rules that the religious leaders had added to the laws of Moses. We're going to talk about that next session. I want you to read for the next session the rest of chapter 5, and I want you to think about Jesus in the dock. What were the two accusations that the religious leaders brought against him that would require the death sentence? And what was Jesus' response? Who were his witnesses and what was his testimony? Think about those things. They're there in the scriptures. Before we leave, I want to talk a little bit more about healing. Notice that not everybody who was at the pool was healed. Only the man who met Jesus and believed what he said. As far as we know, the others were still waiting for the waters to heal them. Faith is a key factor in healing. Either the faith of the person as the paralytic, or the faith of somebody who loved that person who was sick, such as the official with his son. In Galilee, we're told in Mark 6:5, Jesus could only do a few miracles of healing because of the people's lack of faith. Faith is a key factor. Our part is to pray, and the prayers of a righteous man are very effective, as James 5:16 tells us. We need to pray and we need to keep on praying. That's our part. And we need to trust God for his part, which is the healing. Sometimes his agenda is different to ours. There's a verse in Isaiah 57:1 that says, "The righteous perish, and no one ponders in his heart. Devout men are taken away, and no one understands that the righteous are taken away to be spared from evil." Sometimes God knows more about a situation than we do. But I will keep on praying, and I will keep on expecting to see God do miracles. We also need to look at the light of eternity. This is only a small part of our existence, this life on earth. Our real life is in heaven. Jesus taught that the loss of the body meant little, but the loss of the soul was catastrophic. See you next week.